This is it. This is the Season 3 finale of My Team Career Mode. And we can wrap it up simply by finishing 7th if Perez wins and takes the fastest lap. If he doesn't take the fastest lap, then P8 will do. But P7 is the guaranteed target to win the World Championship. So that's all we need to do here. But if this season has proven anything, it's that anything can happen. Well, this is it, the Season 3 finale. If you didn't see the race before this in Brazil, I urge you to check that one out before you come back and check this one out. But here we are, the championship fight is on. And the first part is trying to secure a decent grid position. The final race in Australia then, for the first time since 1995 IRL, when it was held in Adelaide. But this time, the final is held in Melbourne. We're in P13 at the moment, which is probably enough to get us through into Q2, but we've improved our time substantially there and made it so we can comfortably get through. Right, now in Q2, we've set a lap that stuck us 7th. But in the end, it was only just enough to get us through Q2. Jenson Button, by the way, looking mighty quick round here. Although Max Verstappen is looking at raining on Perez's parade just a little bit here. Right, Q3, this is it then. This will determine where we come on the grid. Little bit of track extending there, but we get away with it. However, what we have got is a car right in front of us. It's Pierre Gasly. And that is ruining my lap. That is really ruining my lap. I've had to back out of it, and I elected not to set a time. So it's P10 on the grid with Perez starting P6. So as it stands, if the race were to finish like that, we would be champion. But what will happen after 29 laps of Albert Park?
The Melbourne circuit is certainly one that needs to be taken seriously. Its combination of slippery surfaces and difficult corners make it a tricky track when it comes to overtakes. Drivers find it hard to pass and will need to take full advantage of those DRS zones if they want to have any hope of breaking through. And as always, a man with plenty of racing experience joins me in the commentary box. Today it's Anthony Davidson. Tell me, Ant, you're no stranger to surviving the melee of Turn 1. So how do you keep out of trouble when there's so much going on around you?
Well, the throttle goes both ways, Crofty. You've got to have the discipline not to try and win the race on the first lap. So always be prepared to lift early and give those around you more space. Trying to be the last of the late breakers with half a dozen cars around you may pay off from time to time, but it's also a great way to lose your front wing.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Jenson Button lines up on pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Tsunoda, Hamilton, Sergio Perez, and Leclerc. Joker, Verstappen, they've taken a grid penalty. Stroll and George Russell. Ricciardo, Gasly, and Guan Yu Zhou, and Latifi. Sainz, Norris, Nikita Mazepin, and Esteban Ocon. Markelov, Mick Schumacher, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Vettel and Antonio Giovinazzi starts from the back of the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Well, this is it then, the last 29 laps of Season 3. Who will be champion? Will it be Sergio Perez in his last ever race in this career mode? Or will it be me? Another driver that's announced their retirement from this career mode is Lewis Hamilton. But enough of that. It's lights out and away we go. We've not got the best of start. Verstappen has jumped us and dropped us into P8. So we are currently out of position at the moment. So we need to fight to get that back. Because if Perez were to win and take the fastest lap, that would be enough for him to win the championship. So we need to get P7 back. We're going to have a look down the inside of Verstappen there. We managed to get the move done. And we are back in position. Hamilton and Leclerc are just ahead, battling it out over 5th. but it all seems to be settled out and everyone's settling down into this race a little bit at this stage. If you go 2 or 3 wide round here, it does tend to go a bit crazy. Right, end of lap 1. Verstappen is playing the team game here and having a look at taking back that 7th place. We do not want to lose it because, like I said, right now we are in position. We've gone a little bit wide there, and Verstappen just not letting me go. He's not letting me out of his sight. But at the moment, we need to hold place. As it stands, Jenson Button is leading the way, so hopefully he can play the team game too, and he can try and go after the win here. And it would be a nice touch for Jenson Button to win this race, as this is his last race as my teammate. We'll have an all-new teammate for Season 4. Right, I'm now having a look at Charles Leclerc to get myself that little bit higher. I would like to finish higher than 7th, but I'm not taking any unnecessary risks here. Right now we are where we need to be. I don't need to do anything silly. But we're on the back of Leclerc now. Can we get through round the outside? He's holding the inside, but he's not giving me much room to do so. Round the outside we go. We've got a little bit deep, and Leclerc holds the position. I could have fought that a little bit harder, but I elected not to because, like I said, we don't need to where we are. There is absolutely no need to overly fight this, but what we do need to fight off is Max Verstappen behind, trying to have a look round the outside. We've covered the inside line there. No way through for Max. Next lap, Max is going to have another look down the outside, but again, we're covering him off, and there's just no way through there. Taking the left, right, and cutting the right a little bit there, but we'll get away with that one. Max is going to have a look up the inside. No, he's not. Max stays behind. This is quite an intense fight for 7th, because this is me in championship position right now. I do not want to lose this place and lose the championship, and we've gone very wide there. That's going to allow Max to have a look down the outside of the last corner, but I've just about held the inside line. No way through round the outside for Max. He is covered off, and the fight continues. Verstappen has DRS, but I've got a better run on the straight. But Max is going to have a better run into turn 3 there. I'm going to have to go very defensive because we got very squirrely on the exit. And as a result, Verstappen does have a run, but he's not able to do anything with it. Right, lap 5. Max is still looking everywhere to try and find a way past. He's now got the inside line, and he's gone through Max Verstappen, taking 7th place, but I'm going to have the inside, break that a little bit later, and take that place back. Oh my days, who'd have thought the action would all be for 7th, and that's where the championship fight is taking place. Verstappen trying to assist his teammate Perez by knocking me out of position, but it's just not happening. Verstappen getting closer again. He's now up the inside. I'm giving him room. I've given him room. Max not choosing to use it. He was still there for a moment, but he's backed out as well. And I'm quite lucky that both of us are still in the race. But right now, I am making my one and only pit stop of this race, going on to medium tyres. They will just about go to the end, but I tell you what, they're going to feel a little bit worse for wear when the end of the race does come. But we've come out behind Latifi, and we've got a lot of work to do, which is going to be even more work after that line in turn 1. And Artem Markelov wanting to have a look. No way through there for you, sir, I'm afraid. You can stay right back. But the one thing that is I should state about this race, Perez absolutely has to win. If he does not win, the championship is mine. Right, more cars in the pits. And there's a safety car deployed. Another twist in this dramatic championship fight. What has happened that's merited the safety car? Sebastian Vettel's turned in to a Toro Rosso. Sorry, an Alpha Tauri. They've not been Toro Rosso for years, Joe. Really? But anyway, Sebastian Vettel turns into an Alpha Tauri that's just come out the pits. And I believe that's Lando Norris slamming into a slowing Haas. Clearly not aware the yellow flags and the safety car were out. But we are now back racing. And King Latifi is in 8th place. I've taken it. And the critical thing about this is how it's shaken out. Is that Verstappen is now in position. We are out of championship position. If we finish here and Perez wins and gets the fastest lap, we are out of position. So we now have to do it on the track. We now have to take risks to get 7th place. But we're now having a look at Verstappen to see if there's a way through there. No way through, but Leclerc, quite fortunately for us, is holding things up. So we We are being held up by Leclerc, and he is holding Verstappen back, which means a look down the inside here won't be a miss. Verstappen trying to turn in there, but I'm already there. He has to give me the space, and we are back in that crucial championship position. But now we're going to try and go a little bit better because Leclerc is dead ahead of me. We're going to brake later and move into P6. So if we weren't in position before, we definitely are now. And we have a 1 position leeway. So if we were to drop back to 7th, it would be fine. Right, next up is Hamilton and Tsunoda. Can I get after these two? How high can we finish? Let's try and end this season on a high. We'd be ending it as world champion anyway. The yellow flags are out. Someone has blown up. I don't know who it is, but someone's car has stopped. I can see that it is Valtteri Bottas out of the race. We're now in P5. Tsunoda and Hamilton are battling for 3rd, which means either Perez or Button is leading this race. And looking at the map, I can tell you that it's Jenson Button leading this race. Perez is not doing enough. So we are very much comfortable now in this championship position unless Perez can get after Jenson Button. But even then, we're still in position. So Perez, it's now looking like we are going to take the World Championship in Season 3. But first, I want to try and do it on the podium. And the way to do that, first of all, is to get past Lewis Hamilton, who is also in his very last race of this career mode. We're going to go down the inside here, and this is going to be a double overtake because we brake late. We managed to get the move done on both Tsunoda and Hamilton there. And now we are in position to not only win the championship, but win it on the podium with our teammate leading the way. So can Jenson Button hold on to take his first win? That, for me, is more exciting than the championship fight itself. Can my teammate get a final win in his final ever Formula 1 Grand Prix? Jenson, I'm just going to say this. It has been an absolute privilege to have you in my team this season. You have been a wonderful teammate. But if you can grab this win, you will be even more wonderful. But we still have a few laps to go. But actually, Jenson is holding this lead nicely. But my tyres are really starting to go off now. And Hamilton and Verstappen are starting to come back at me. This is not over yet, because if my tyres go off and I have a horrible spin, I could lose quite a few positions. Hamilton getting quite eager on me there. And you see... Oh, Hamilton's gone into me! That was just bizarre. Hamilton's gone into me. He's tapped me again. Lewis Hamilton losing his mind here on the penultimate lap of the Australian Grand Prix. And losing his front wing with it. He misjudged where I was and just went into the back of me. And now Max Verstappen is trying to get on with the podium with his teammate. I'm going to have to cover the inside. Verstappen wants past me, but he's not getting past me. And there aren't enough corners left. My tyres are just about gonna hold on as we come into the penultimate corner. Jenson Button takes the win of the Australian Grand Prix, and because of that, I crossed the line in P3 to become Formula 1 champion of the world. We are the champions, my friend. Woohoo! Champion!
It's certainly been an incredible year for Formula 1, and our drivers have all pushed themselves this season, making it one of the most compelling years of racing in history. There can only be one champion, however, and here they are now, our new Formula 1 World Drivers' Champion. Victory today then, but bittersweet emotions, I'm sure, as the championship slips through their fingers. Even so, what a fantastic final...
What do you mean the championship slips through my fingers? I bloody won it, you fool!
Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
Well, the safety car completely changed the race, didn't it? It's hard to say exactly what would have happened without it, but there's no question that they came out of that situation in a good position.
Well, I'm thoroughly exhausted after the excitement of that race, but I'm sure it's nothing compared to our drivers here. They've worked hard to make it up there, and it's great to see them make their way out onto the podium.
I don't know what Crofty was smoking. I think he was referring to the Constructors' Championship. But I am champion of the world here. We've done it. World Drivers' Champion with Joe H2O Racing, and Jenson Button gets in his final race a final victory. And Pierre Gasly, the rocket ship of the season in his AlphaTauri, gets fastest lap. And Lewis Hamilton, who's also in his final race, gets 6th. So we lose Hamilton and Perez this season. That's going to trigger an array of changes for the driver lineups next season, and I am living for it. There will be a season 4 because I want to get the Constructors' Trophy. Well, there you have it then. 316 points and winning it by 18. We have won the championship. Perez, a fine effort in his final season of this career mode. Hamilton again doing brilliantly to finish 3rd. Look at Gasly there, up in P5 of the Drivers' Championship. A brilliant effort by Gasly. He's done amazingly this season. And Jenson Button getting 7th. Unfortunately, kind of letting the team side of it down. But you know what? He has been a great teammate. It's been great to have Jenson Button in. Who will my Season 4 teammate be? All will be revealed in the first race of Season 4. But for now, let's close out Season 3. I am world champion. I need to get the Constructors for my team. But until the next time, it is TTFN from me. Season 4 will begin next Monday. Tune in.